We're back! You know, being overwhelmed with all the trucks that I bought in the last couple months, I just thought today it would be a great idea to go look at a 1974 Fj55. It's really just pristine. It doesn't have any rust. Now who am I kidding? It's falling apart. But we're gonna look at it anyways. I think she should fit. I think this is a great location for her. Oh, hey guys. Well, yeah, you know, we went and saw that Fj55, the 1973-74 one. Yeah, that one. Well, when we got there, the property owner asked me not to be filming on his property, so I did go ahead and respect him by not doing so. But I was able to capture a little bit of what the truck looked like while I was there, and that footage is playing now. She was rough, guys. I mean, rough. You think these 60 series rust out bad? These rust out by just looking at them. But despite all that, I like these trucks, so I did the right thing and I bought it. And it's actually on its way to my house right now. He offered to tow it for me, so yeah, I'm gonna take that. So before it gets here, let's go over a little bit about it. She's been sitting in the woods since 2003. Up until 2 months ago, I don't even think it knew what a person looked like. So yeah, it's got some broken windows and it's got cakes of Bondo. I mean, it basically should be a bakery from all the cakes that are on it. And it's got a key. I mean, what parts truck do you know has a key these days? And it's complete. And let me tell you, the motor's not stuck. I know. But it don't got brakes and don't got a clutch. And only one door opens and 2 of the windows are busted out. And then it's gonna sit right here until we get it running. Oh, we just gotta get it here first. Shoot. How are you gonna do that? I didn't think about that. Well, here's the beautiful gem that we had towed to my house. I remember it looking just a little bit better. Don't give me that look, guys, okay? It's got a homemade bull bar, for heaven's sakes. Okay, it's a little more rough than I remember, okay, guys? Like that giant dent in the roof and the lack of paint. And I'm pretty sure it has more Bondo than I remember, but it's okay, I still like it. And that's why we're still gonna take a tour of it and see what's the good things about it, okay? And talk about what we're gonna be doing with this truck. I would like to see it running and driving down the road at least once. Might be too far gone and it might be a parts truck. Leave a comment below on what you think I should actually do with this truck. I know they're rare, so you really don't want to pull it apart, but let me know. So now that it's here, let's put some eyes on it together. Let's just keep in mind this truck has been in the woods for the last 20 years and it probably needs a bath really badly. As you can see, I keep on talking about the Bondo. This seems to be typical that these are just become wings on these old Fj55s. The emblems are still there, the marker lights are still there, and these marker lights as well. The hood is rusted, which seems to be a very common problem on these. There's a ton of flies all over it. I'm not sure why. The glass on this truck is in great shape. None of it's cracked. You like to see these windshield wipers as well. The rear view mirrors for the doors is there. As I made a joke about, this is the only door that opens on the whole truck. It also is one of the doors that has a broken window. The rear tailgate window is also broken. But as you come in here, it's rough. She needs a new upholstery job if we wanted to go that far. The headliner's gone, but things like the dome light is still there. That's a rare piece for these trucks. The glove box door is actually in decent shape. This piece here, the trim that kind of connects the glove box door and the Speedo, rare as well. It's not in the best shape, but again, it's all very complete. The steering wheel seems to be in good shape. It's all free. Your combination switch is there. And check it out, we have keys. That's a rarity. Usually I just have to stick a screwdriver in there to get it to work. So we'll check later in time if all of this stuff is working. I'm praying that it will be working. The stick shift does work. It's in gear right now because it's being held on the hillside here. As you can see, we got some Flintstone edge here. some speed holes. It definitely doesn't make this truck go any faster. I can assure you of that. This is, well, you know, the first hot rodding thing, sticking your exhaust right out the side there. This is sporting the 1F motor, 3.9 liter motor there. Again, can't get in the back here. None of these doors open. Gas door, and we got our lid there. Marker lights seem to be complete. The chrome's coming off, but some of this stuff is pretty rare these days. All these lenses back here are in decent shape, especially the emblem's still there. These lenses are actually in really awesome shape. Tailgate shot, as well as the license plate lights there. Things like this latch, these are very rare, but I can't even get this open. It might be locked. Again, this is all broken. The glass got shattered. I do have another piece of glass if I do decide to kind of bring this one back to life. And then all you see, all of just the lovely trash back here. I don't even know what half this stuff is. Maybe there's a gold bar in there or something. Oh, I do need a new razor. Oh, sweet. But again, the Bondo trend continues. As you can see, this is just floating in the wind there. That's pretty typical for these trucks. The rear bumper's in actually really decent shape. Those tend to just fall apart or get dented in. Obviously this one's a little dented in, but that's, you know, decent to see there. Door doesn't open. It doesn't open at all. I don't know if that's because it's stuffed up with something. I've found ways to open those up, but we'll have to see about that. Bummer here, the other rear view mirror here is broken. I do have another one of those, I believe, in part storage I could throw on there. Here's that giant dent in the hood or the roof that I'll have fun popping out with this retro roof rack up here. I don't even know if that's factory to these. I've never actually seen one on these trucks. Again, not the prettiest thing, but these things are fairly rare in the area, and I've only seen a handful of them, and the handful that I've seen I usually end up with. Let's get her pulled over to her spot. She's gonna be sitting for a little bit. Pretty dang complete under here, and important to note is that it turns freely, which is pretty nice. Do you think she'll pop off? I think she will. Let's see what we can do to make that happen. Carburetor actually looks really clean. That's crazy. This truck is just such a winner. It's missing its ground wire there for the battery, and then we check out the oil, and oh wait, is that no oil on the dipstick? There's no oil in this thing, so we got to figure out what's going on there. Hope the points and the distributor are good, but we might have to check those out, and that our coil and igniter are doing okay. Well, we have this connector for the ground wire that's just as bad as the rest of the truck, but it's just all I had in the toolbox for right now, just to see if we can get some vitals or something out of this vehicle. We're just gonna do a little borrow of batteries from the 62. All right, well that's gonna do it for today. Put a battery on the motor and couldn't get any vital signs to anything. I'm not sure why it's not getting any electricity to anything in the truck, so we're gonna have to dive into the wiring a little bit. The motor, as you saw, doesn't have any oil in it, so I need to go pick up some oil to get that in there. I don't want to turn the motor over until there is some type of lubricant in there. As you saw, the carburetor looks decent enough. It looks like everything else is in place to get it running. Let's go to the parts store, pick up those items, and see if we can come back and get her to bark off a little bit. I last left you with not being able to get any power to anything under the hood here. She wouldn't crank over, she wouldn't do anything. I went ahead and looked at my 1972 Fj55, which has a similar motor and setup, and found out that this wire right here was the culprit. It's almost like a fusible link wire. It wasn't hooked up, and honestly, I couldn't even find it when I went to look at it today. So got that all hooked up, and let me show you what kind of vital signs we got. Just turning over. That's a good sign. Was she getting spark? I didn't see any lightning. So we gotta dive into the distributor, check the points, and then probably order some. because I doubt that these are worth a damn. But we'll check it out. Taking off the filter that looks like it's seen every ocean on this lovely earth of ours. And we're gonna change the oil, or add it, because none of the other trucks in my yard need an oil change, and this one somehow got the winning lottery ticket. I don't know why. Who needs a funnel anyways? Getting oil all over the engine is my favorite pastime. Let's be honest. But right now, we're just gonna top off all the quarts. You know, just fill her on up. Make her into a new lady. We went and just got the She's Gonna Bark Off Box 1000, which consists of a brand new coil, second-hand, newer cap, distributor from my old Fj55, points, and a condenser that I know are brand new. If you're wondering what we did go ahead and do with my first Fj55, the blue and white one, be sure to check out this video here. It's a real good little episode. Come on, wake up. First order of business is getting this crusty old coil all taken care of. I think it's seen better days, along with everything electrical that goes along with it. Combinationally built this from all the pieces that I showed you earlier. This is in much better shape. I had a lot of this stuff just hanging around. Better than just sitting in a parts bin. It's gonna go into this truck for now. This is what we got here. I was able to put a new condenser on over here on the side of the distributor. I did not have the correct type of points, so I try to clean these up the best I can. We're gonna turn over the engine and see if we get some spark. Well, you're probably just as surprised as I am to see the truck still sitting in the same location after throwing used parts at it that really just didn't do anything except waste my time. We had to go to Rock Auto, that place, and buy some parts. So we ordered a condenser and some points. So we're just gonna throw it at the truck and hope it runs now. We got the new points and condenser all put on the distributor down here. We have our gap all set here with our feeler gauge, and we're gonna see if we get some spark. Well, as you saw, the guys at Rock Auto, they came through. The points and condenser, it provided us with a blessing of spark, as you saw when we grounded the spark plug off to the block. But now we're just having a little bit of trouble with this carburetor that has probably been sitting at the bottom of the ocean longer than the ocean has actually existed itself. So we're gonna keep on messing with this one a little longer until I get fed up with it and go and get a second-hand one that I know that actually works, so we can get some fuel into the intake and get some type of banging and popping out of the motor. Yeah, these things are just never easy. Right. Before we slap the FJ60 carburetor on the 1F motor, I do want to point out one thing. These are the isolator plates that sit below the carburetor. This is a 1F isolator plate, and this breather tube runs out to the PCV valve on the other side of the motor. This is an FJ61, which would normally have a heat shielding on it, which I went ahead and took off, actually just cut it off, so it will work on the 1F motor. So if you are going to an FJ60 carburetor, you need to know that you need to switch this out or get rid of this tube in some way. So let's go ahead and get that carburetor on. There's no question that this Fj55, by it not starting, is now beginning to frustrate the heck out of me. So I did the right thing and I went to the zone. You know, the auto zone. Get in the zone to buy another round of parts, because I thought throwing wires, rotors, and caps back at it might actually get it to run this time. No chance. But I'm in the zone. Get in the zone! Auto zone! I also bought a set of spark plugs for the 1F, but I didn't want to throw them at the engine because I didn't want to ruin all the time it took me to gap them. Yep, they look gapped to me. I have now completed plugs, wires, cap, rotor. I did put a new starter on it. We got a coil, points, condenser, different carburetor. Let's see if she fires off. Let's go. Do it. last ditch effort to figure out what's going on with the Fj55 motor and why it's not running, I decided to go backwards, back to the basics, and do a compression test. These are the numbers of the compression test. Number 1, 30. 2, 65. 3, 80. 4, you'll love this one, 0, 5, 50, and 6, 30. So my guess is that's probably why it was parked to begin with, because the motor is extremely tired and pretty much game over. We are trying one last thing, and that is putting Marlboro Missile Oil into the cylinders and letting it sit for a little bit to see if we can bump compression. If that is not going to work, to get it to fire over at least once, then I'm gonna call it quits on this motor. Maybe put in another motor. I'll let you guys decide on what you wanna see happen to this truck. It's been exactly 7 days since I touched this truck last. I took those days and went out to the great state of Montana for a little vacation, so I didn't have to look at this thing for 7 days. So now we're gonna dive back into it to see if the Marlboro Mr. Oil actually bumped the compression numbers, and if it did, to see if we can actually get it started. So let's get down there and see what happens. See this face right here? It's straight up pure disappointment, because the 7 days that I waited to see if this actually could work did absolutely nothing. The compression numbers are exactly the same. Actually, cylinder number 2 went from 65 to 90. I know, let's have a party. I believe that is why this truck was parked to begin with, that it did need a motor. So we have a couple options here. We go ahead and park the truck out, put a new motor in it, or new motor, let it sit here until it just rusts to the ground, or sell it as it is. We did go ahead and give it our best foot forward. I would love to have seen this thing go down the road. I mean, let's be honest, look at it. It probably doesn't have much more life left in it